Chiron in the fifth is usually very indicative of the inner child being, I don't want to say wounded, but that's basically the word that I need to use here. The inner sense of youthfulness and innocence and being childlike and doing things for no reason except for just doing and enjoying. That part of the self, very early on usually, was disregarded as something that is of value or was put down in some way, in that it was seen as silly or insignificant, or it wasn't nurtured, basically. And this early onset of not allowing just a childlike way of living and being and acting created at some point in the past this life, other times in the family memory, created at some point this break. And this break is a dissociation of the inner child and spirit. And well, inner child and spirit sometimes being one and the same. The intellectual, rational mind and the personality of someone that is mature and not self-centered and not someone that's high in self-interest is usually a manifestation in the personality that's noticed by others. So therefore, people that have Chiron in the fifth are people that find it very hard to be expressive, to be creative, and I don't mean necessarily not cooking or actually making anything, but feeling like one can just do stuff for the fun of it without practical reason or without a sense of purpose as to why one is undertaking some creative endeavor. Whether speaking is difficult or there's a shyness around expressing one's voice and one's emotions outward, that there's a number of ways that the Chiron in the fifth can manifest, but basically there's a reservation of the creative and playful spirit and a more or less an emphasis on the more mature aspects, the more practical aspects, the more group-minded aspects of the self. On the other side of that, Chiron in fifth can also, as a position, can also be one that has a tendency towards needing alone time, or at the extreme opposite end of the spectrum, needing a lot of attention but not knowing how you feel comfortable with it. It's almost like the soul, or that part of the self which feels like it's missing, wants to be activated and to be nurtured and integrated. So for some people, having alone time or that means, whatever the interests are, just spending time away from other people and just feeling like one can be with oneself. And I feel like for some that this is that nurturing the inner child and nurturing the soul. There's also the chance that the children that are born to people with this position can be can feel early on as well that their natural creativity and expression is something that's not honoured or appreciated, because if the parent with this position doesn't actually know what it's like to be in touch with that part of the self and to honour it and to see it have some value, it's not unlikely that the children that can come in, which the fifth house also, one aspect of the fifth is children and the creation of any number of things. And if the children coming forward have a parent with this position, it's like uncertainty around their own creative abilities is something that can be possible. I don't want to say common, but definitely possible. Even if you feel you're a creative person or a sensitive person, it is this expression or feeling comfortable with admitting this part of yourself or expressing this part to others can be an issue, rather than the fact that your whole sense of creativity or ability to create is wounded, because that's not necessarily the situation here. That's just one way that it can come about. Being in the center or getting a whole lot of attention is something that, again, there's that maybe a pull towards it, but like a feeling of awkwardness or uncertainty, unless it's maybe a position of power. But in just general grabbing the spotlight and being seen for what one's doing, there's that wanting the recognition and a part of the self feeling comfortable, but then equally feeling a bit anxious or not sure how to sit with that attention. I think despite all the different ways that the inner child, as in it's not a separate part of you, it is you, and if it feels like, if that part of your psyche, rather, not part of you, but that part of your psyche, if that youthful spirited energy cannot find a route for expression, not only would I strongly suggest finding ways to bring some art and bring some actions and some activities to do just for the fun of it, and to actually start over time feeling comfortable just doing for the sake of doing. And although it may not seem to have some obvious benefit, in time the benefits will show way greater than you could have ever realized. And that even means maybe spending more time with your children, or that time with you, or with your projects that you wish you could have ever maybe put more energy into or shown to the world. I think that's something that is worth noting. I will add some more in the comments in the description area below, because I do know that there's a few other points I want to make, but for now that is essentially the take-home message, is to recognize that part of yourself, through some condition, through some external situation, felt it was not safe or it was not accepted to express itself. And any time that you're starting to become aware of this is the right time, and it's only a matter of planting the seed of wanting to integrate that part of yourself more and more, and finding any number of ways to do so, and to ask around if you have some more creative friends, or even online these days. I think exploring that part of yourself will be extraordinarily healing for you, and not only will it allow other people to feel more like that they can express themselves more so just in the way that they wish to express themselves, without feeling like they're going to be judged, or what they're going to say is irrelevant, or just people feeling comfortable around you. That will also aid in your ability to feel both comfortable with other people and comfortable with this very core central part of yourself. So I hope this was of benefit, and ask any questions, and I can always brainstorm and think up ways that I can suggest based on other chart factors, how this can be healed and how you can work through this. But for now, that's all I have to say, and yeah, I hope this was of benefit to you. So thank you.